Have you ever wondered how Indonesia, an archipelago with over 17,000 islands, became the diverse and vibrant nation we know today? Imagine, if you will, a vast expanse of islands, each with its own unique geography, yet all connected by the surrounding seas. This is Indonesia, a land of incredible natural beauty and diversity. Now, let's journey back in time to when early humans first set foot on these islands. Our story begins with the Java man, a subspecies of Homo erectus, who called this region home over 1 million years ago. But the story doesn't end there. The winds of change brought with them new ideas and cultures. From the Indian subcontinent, Hinduism and Buddhism swept across the archipelago, leaving an indelible mark on the local culture and setting the stage for a rich tapestry of history to unfold. From the early human settlers to the influence of foreign cultures, the stage was set for a rich tapestry of history to unfold. As time marched on, powerful kingdoms began to rise, shaping the destiny of the archipelago. This marked the beginning of what is often referred to as the Age of Kingdoms, a period of history that saw the rise and fall of great empires, each leaving its indelible mark on the cultural and religious landscape of Indonesia. At the heart of this age were the Hindu-Buddhist kingdoms of Srivijaya and Majapahit. Srivijaya, a maritime empire, was a beacon of Buddhist learning and a hub of trade, linking India to China. Its influence stretched across the Malay Peninsula, Sumatra, and Java. This kingdom thrived from the 7th to the 13th century, its decline paving the way for the rise of the Majapahit Empire. Majapahit, a Hindu-Buddhist kingdom, emerged in East Java in the late 13th century. Its golden age was under the rule of Hayam Wuruk, whose reign from the mid-14th to the late 14th century saw the kingdom extend its influence over much of the Indonesian archipelago. His prime minister, Gajah Mada, is remembered for his Palapa oath to unify the archipelago, an aspiration that resonates with modern Indonesia's motto, unity in diversity. However, the Age of Kingdoms was not only about the rise and fall of empires. It was also a period of significant cultural and religious transformation. From the 7th century onwards, Indian and Arab traders began to introduce Islam to the archipelago. The new faith gradually gained traction, initially along the coastal trade routes and later penetrating inland. By the 16th century, Islam had become the dominant religion in many parts of the archipelago, marking a significant shift from its Hindu-Buddhist past. As the Age of Kingdoms drew to a close, the archipelago stood at the threshold of monumental change. The once Hindu-Buddhist archipelago was now seeing a new religious landscape, with Islam gaining prominence. This period of history had set the stage for the next chapter in the story of Indonesia, an era of foreign domination and the struggle for independence. The winds of change brought European powers to the shores of Indonesia, marking a new chapter in its history. As the 15th century dawned, the Portuguese, in their quest for spices and other exotic wares, navigated treacherous seas to reach the Indonesian archipelago. However, their reign was short-lived. By the turn of the 17th century, the Dutch had arrived, bringing with them the formidable Dutch East India Company. This commercial behemoth was granted an unprecedented monopoly over trade in the region, acting as a quasi-governmental entity. The company established its stronghold, swiftly usurping the Portuguese and asserting dominance over the lucrative spice trade. But the Dutch East India Company was more than just a trading entity. Its influence permeated Indonesian society, shaping culture, politics, and economics. The company introduced a system of land tenure known as the cultuurstelsel, or cultivation system, which forced farmers to dedicate a portion of their land to growing cash crops for export. This system, although economically beneficial for the Dutch, was a yoke around the necks of the Indonesian people, leading to widespread poverty and hardship. As the Dutch East India Company's power waned, the Dutch government took direct control of the archipelago, marking the beginning of formal Dutch colonization. The colonizers brought with them new administrative systems, education, and religion, leaving an indelible mark on the Indonesian landscape. Yet, despite the oppression and hardship, the Indonesian people remained resilient. The adversity they faced under foreign rule sparked a sense of unity and a desire for self-determination. It was during these challenging times that the spirit of nationalism began to stir in the hearts of the Indonesian people, laying the foundation for their future struggle for independence. The seeds of nationalism were sown during these times of hardship and struggle under foreign rule. The flame of nationalism ignited the desire for freedom, leading to a series of events that would change the course of Indonesia's history. As the world was drawn into the chaos of World War II, Indonesia found itself under a new regime. The Dutch, who had colonized the archipelago for over 3 centuries, were replaced by a new occupying force, the Japanese. While the Japanese occupation was harsh and brutal, it also unintentionally sowed the seeds of nationalism among the Indonesian people. In the midst of global conflict, local leaders saw an opportunity. They understood that the winds of change were blowing, and they seized the chance to fan the flames of nationalism that had been kindled during the Japanese occupation. The most significant of these leaders was Sukarno, a charismatic figure who would later become the first president of Indonesia. In August of 1945, just days after the end of World War II, Sukarno and his fellow nationalist, Muhammad Hatta, proclaimed the independence of Indonesia. This was not the end of the struggle, however. It was merely the beginning of a new chapter in the fight for freedom. The Dutch, unwilling to relinquish their hold on the lucrative archipelago, attempted to regain control. This resulted in a bitter conflict known as the Indonesian National Revolution. For 4 long years, the people of Indonesia fought tooth and nail for their right to self-governance. The road to independence was fraught with challenges and setbacks. Yet, through it all, the Indonesian people remained undeterred. They held firm in their belief in a free and independent Indonesia. Finally, in December of 1949, the Dutch officially recognized Indonesia's sovereignty. This marked the end of centuries of foreign rule and the beginning of a new era for the nation. After centuries of foreign rule, Indonesia finally stood as a free and independent nation. The road to independence had been long and arduous, but the flame of nationalism had guided the people of Indonesia to their freedom. In the post-independence era, Indonesia embarked on its journey as a new nation, facing numerous challenges and transformations. With the dawn of independence, Indonesia found itself grappling with political instability and economic hurdles. The nation's first president, Sukarno, played a pivotal role in navigating these turbulent times. His leadership aimed to unite the archipelago's diverse cultures under one banner, while simultaneously balancing the delicate political dynamics both domestically and internationally. However, his reign was fraught with economic downturns and political infighting, leading to a transition of power. Enter General Suharto, who took the helm in 1967. His new order regime brought about a semblance of stability and economic growth, largely fueled by the oil boom of the 70s. Yet it was a period marked by authoritarian rule, human rights abuses, and corruption. The Asian financial crisis of the late 90s proved to be Suharto's undoing. The economic turmoil ignited widespread discontent, leading to massive protests and eventually his resignation in 1998. This marked the beginning of the Reformasi, or Reform era, a pivotal turning point in Indonesia's history. The Reformasi was characterized by a transition towards a more democratic government structure and the decentralization of power. It heralded a new age of political and economic reforms aimed at improving transparency, accountability, and social justice. Since then, Indonesia has made significant strides in establishing a robust democratic system and fostering economic growth. Today, Indonesia is recognized as Southeast Asia's largest economy, a member of the G20, and a vibrant democracy. It's a nation that continually evolves, striving to balance its rich cultural diversity with its modern aspirations. From a collection of diverse islands to a unified, independent nation, Indonesia's journey is a testament to its resilience and spirit. And as we delve into the 21st century, the world watches with anticipation to see how this dynamic archipelago continues to shape its own destiny.